I think I've been very clear that George Floyd, wrong.
Yeah.
Did not deserve and should not have died at the hands of that officer. I think right now they might be trying to put on more harsh charges.
I think they did.
They're upping
so
the
that it gets dropped.
Yeah, exactly.
So that it gets dropped and they can continue the riots. You can't actually create motive and say that this guy went out and wanted to lynch a black guy. But I did say third-degree murder, manslaughter, absolutely. Negligence, sure.
Absolutely.
Been very clear that should not have happened. Doesn't matter that he had meth and fentanyl in his system.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. He shouldn't have. If you have fentanyl and meth in your system and you have a heart attack, it's the police officer's job to try and keep you alive.
Yeah, call the EMS.
Right? To serve and protect, not to control us.
Yep.
Period. Now, separate sentence. Let me explain to you why it matters that George Floyd was a scummy, violent criminal. Didn't deserve to die. Period. End of sentence.
Everybody
right?
good?
Yeah, end.
Now, let me explain this. This is a man who, long rap sheet offender. This is a man who personally sought out a pregnant woman, black woman, by the way, invaded her house, jammed a loaded pistol into her gut while his other thug buddies ransacked her house. And he got 5 years for it. This is why it matters. It does not mean that he deserved to die at the hands of police officers, despite, you know what? Maybe he only had meth and fentanyl in his system because he's an addict, and I understand it's a disease and he had no control over it. Doesn't mean that he was still a criminal. I'm not necessarily convinced that he was flying on the straight and narrow. Should not have died from the police officers. But here is why it matters. Do you know how many unarmed black men have been killed by cops last year? Anyone have an estimate? Because now they're saying genocide, right?
Right.
Genocide.
Right.
What would you think genocide
It'd have
is?
to be at least 1,000.
Yeah, 10 unarmed black men. 19 white guys, by the way. Down from the low 30s in the Barack Obama years. So we're making progress. And of those 10, most of them deserved it. Doesn't matter if you have a gun or not. If you reach for a cop's gun, if you charge a police officer, there's a strong chance that you get shot. A lower chance, mind you, than white people. That's a statistic that nobody wants to talk about. White people are shot more often with police officers when you actually take into account interactions. Some people say, well, white people are a higher percentage of the population. Doesn't matter. It's about how many interactions you have. If 100 black people have an interaction with a police officer, they are 25% less likely to get shot than if 100 white people have an interaction with a police officer. Why do the crimes matter of George Floyd? Because that's an evil son of a bitch. Anyone here ever had a pregnant wife? Imagine someone jamming a loaded pistol into her gut. Why does that matter? Because that's a bigger problem facing the black community today. That is not atypical. Black people commit crimes, the Hodge twins were talking about this, at a disproportionate rate, both against white people and against members of their black community. If we want reform, that is what we want to reform. George Floyd deserved to die then. If there were a husband, he could have shot George Floyd and been within his rights.
Justified.
And reform has nothing to do with the police officer. But you know why this matters too? Because this is the emblem. There were 10 people shot last year by police officers. Most officers now are carrying body cam footage. You picked the guy who jammed a loaded pistol into a pregnant woman's belly with 5 guys and pistol whipped her. Hey, if you're gonna pick someone to paint a mural, can you find one who doesn't act like an evil person? Just one? Doesn't deserve to die at the hands of the cops. Really clear. But that is evil. That is premeditated evil. Pick one of the 10 who actually was a law-abiding citizen. Mike Brown? Nope. Punched a cop, was reaching for his gun. Trayvon Martin? Nope. Was pummeling a guy's head into the ground. Tamir Rice? Nope. Was aiming guns at people in a park. Corin Gaines? Nope. Was holding her daughter as a human shield with a loaded shotgun. My point here is this. You want this to be, when you say George Floyd is all of us, well, why? We don't say Jeffrey Dahmer is all of us. And by the way, Jeffrey Dahmer should never have been killed by police when being taken into custody. No one should. That's the rule of law. Why can't you pick someone who hasn't assaulted a pregnant woman with a gun? That's my point. It matters. You want to address the problem. That's a problem that you need to address.